Good morning. Happy Monday and welcome to the 25th episode of Coffee Talk Live. This is the show where my guests and I explore what it means to live a sustainable, healthy life as mothers for ourselves in the home and in the community. I'm your host, Connie Pastorius, founder of Pastorius Fitness, which is online coaching for overwhelmed moms who are ready to get stronger, gain energy, and reclaim their health. I am also the woman in charge here at Strong as a Mother, Happy and Healthy Living Facebook group, whose mission is to be the village for moms to feel heard and supported so they can live happy and healthy lives while raising happy and healthy babies. So for those of you who are live or catching the replay, let us know today what your biggest struggles are when it comes to getting a good night's sleep, whether it's your babies, whether it's noise pollution, whether it's just anxiety or stress. I want to hear it and let's talk about it in real time. If you're watching the replay, either way, don't be shy. I want to hear your voice too in this conversation. So if you're watching later on YouTube, please click the link in the description of this video to join this amazing community of moms who are busy but also healthy-minded just like you. So I want to get right to it. We're talking about sleep today, that one thing that almost all of us feel like we want more of but can't get enough of, at least quality. So that is what we're talking about. So my guest today is a woman's holistic lifestyle coach and author who specializes in helping women live their best life by reducing self-sabotaging beliefs through holistic practices, which is amazing. I love it. It's totally like my jam. Welcome to the show, Kelly Haywiser. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Connie. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy to see you. So you are a great friend of my mom's. My mom found spirituality, holistic lifestyle later in life, and you are the one person that has been coming up in our conversations almost nonstop. There's always something great that she has to say about you, and that's why I just got to a point where I was like, you know what? I want to meet this lady. I want to see why she's so amazing. And maybe she has something awesome to share with our group. So here we are.
Absolutely. Thank you again. Yes, your mother is wonderful and she's been on a beautiful journey, and as well as a lot of my other friends and family and clients. So it's just been amazing. Yes.
Absolutely. And so we started this conversation because I knew a little bit about you. I knew that you were a Reiki master. I knew that you practiced or you knew about and worked with aromatherapy and stones and all these kinds of things that like are kind of in the holistic spirituality universe, kind of like tarot that I interviewed my guests on a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know a lot about, and I feel that there's a lot of misconceptions about these things. So I stay in my yoga lane when it comes to all this stuff. And that's why, we're here today. So we talked about a lot of things. And I said, what do you think would be a great value for moms to learn about to live a holistic, sustainable lifestyle? And even though we talked about the stones, we talked about aromatherapy and Reiki and all this stuff, you came back and said, this is the one thing that I think we need to hear the most about.
Well, my belief is that we come from a place of some type of issue or problem or concern that we're dealing with. And we know for a fact, I'm a mom, I'm a grandmother of 4 children and a mother of 2. And I started over 25 years ago in the holistic practices and modalities. And I think the thing is one of the things is sleep. We all want to have some type of sleep because one, if we don't, then we lose our energy throughout the day. We lose our nerves. We're kind of short with our children, and we can't be present with people like we should be. So yeah.
Right. I agree. I mean, coffee in hand. So, well, I mean, what are you drinking this morning? I always like to start with that.
And I brought it out. So I found in my travels, I run a sacred travelers group because I do like to travel. And this is from Puerto Rico. So it's a Puerto Rican coffee. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Yukono and it's a decaf. I found out that if I have a little bit of caffeine in the morning, that's okay, but too much, forget it. I'm not going to get that sleep I need. I always like a dash of cinnamon, so a little bit.
Oh yeah, I love that. I was just talking about this with somebody. I love putting cinnamon on my peanut butter sandwiches. Like I don't like jelly. I don't like bananas. Like cinnamon is my one weird like add-on. I love traveling too. Oh my gosh, like just don't you feel like the world is like starting to open back up now and you just feel like all these opportunities and you're like, oh, where can we go? Where can we go? And it just feels really good mostly.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, even a small trip, we have a lot of, parents on the line and of course we have the big grandiose ideas. I want to travel to Europe. I want to travel to the Caribbean. I want to go to the beach. But I found out that sometimes just going to a local park, and just exploring is a great way of just getting out of the house and enjoying life. So,
yeah. Oh my gosh. That's something I love about living in New York too, because you get on a train and go in any direction and you land somewhere brand new that you've never seen before. And it's an adventure. I can very easily play tourist for the rest of my life and I'm still going to like run into new stuff. Anyways, this is how I start running off the conversation topic. We're talking about sleep. So we wandered into coffee. We wandered into, going into decaf with my clients. Before we even get into a workout program, I asked 2 questions. How's your sleep? How are you hydrating? Like, are you drinking enough water? So something that a lot of people don't understand when they want to like jump into a workout program or go on this really restrictive diet is that unless you get this foundational quality sleep consistently, everything else in your life is going to be a mess. And that's where we are going to dive right in. So let's go for it. Let's talk about sleep and how we can find, like, how do we find our natural sleep cycle, right? So between babies and, bedtimes, watching TV, like just thinking like I should be in bed by 11, that might not be the case for getting quality sleep. So tell us, Kelly, how do we find our natural sleep cycle?
So let me first start by saying, first of all, anything that I explained today, you can only apply it to yourself, but you can also apply it with your children. So the number one key thing is to experiment, find out what is truly the amount of sleep that you need. Everybody is different. The majority of people need 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, but you need to find your own unique one that keeps you functioning at the optimum health that you want. And to do that, I would suggest that just like, starting a new diet, you need to be able to see where you're at, between 1 to 2 weeks and see how food affects you. Well, it's the same with sleep. You need to spend at least 1 or 2 weeks that says, you know what, I'm really going to focus on my sleep cycles. And you can do that by, selecting a good bedtime start. So what time should you be going to bed? I know we have children that go to bed at different times. You want to try to get there as well. You also want to try to make sure that you're waking up at the same time without that alarm clock if you can. So trying to find that span. If you need the alarm clock, that's fine, but I would recommend that you don't. Try to put your changes by 15-minute increments. So for instance, if I'm going to start off by going to bed at 9 tonight. Okay, that didn't really work. I'm going to start by maybe not 8:45. So you want to adjust it by 15-minute increments. Also, if you lose sleep, napping is wonderful, but try to keep it less than 30 minutes. The optimum is between 15 to 20 minutes. I put my timer on. Believe me, there are nights that I don't get enough sleep. So, put your timer on for 15 to 20 minutes and say, I'm going to get my little nap in. That's always wonderful. And it's only if you've lost a lot of sleep the night before, you're feeling really, really tired. The other thing is you want to fight, wanting to eat past a certain time. So for instance, if you're eating, heavy meals before you go to sleep, it's just going to disrupt your sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, a colleague of mine, another coach, posted once that most of the problems that you're facing in your life would be avoided if you just went to bed earlier. And I saw that and I was like, oh, that's funny. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh, he's got something there. Cause like, you eliminate the blue light from watching TV, you decrease, you increase the amount of sleep that you're getting, you decrease the urge and the desire to eat, stuff that you obviously aren't needing late at night. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep that one in my back pocket. It's a really good piece of advice. And I really like how you kind of compared finding your sleep cycle with deciding or with figuring out what's going on with your diet, because we figure out whenever we want to learn more about ourselves, we have to monitor it, and we don't have to become neurotic and obsessively track every single waking hour and minute for the rest of our lives. But if we want to change something, we got to look at it. So maybe having, I guess, like a notepad by your bed and seeing when you go to bed and when you wake up, and just paying attention, maybe giving yourself a scale of like 1 to 5 on how that much sleep made you feel this energized from a scale of 1 to 5 throughout the day, and then kind of moving forward with it. So I really like that advice. It's really easy, especially because we don't, moms listening might be like, oh, I don't have time to do that. I think as far as investing a little extra time in yourself and doing this small task is going to yield a way bigger return in the amount of energy that you have during the day, that I think it's a very valuable thing to try out for just like 1 or 2 weeks, you said, yeah?
Yeah, I would stick 1 to 2 weeks. And like you said, I would have a journal or something that you're keeping track of it, a monitor. And again, this is, for your well-being. So, take it serious, be dedicated, just like any other workout program that you would put energy and thought process to. Yeah.
That kind of, this is self-care that like takes a little bit of work, but it's really helpful. Yeah. Sure. Okay, so then let's go into the ways we create a sleep environment. So I love talking about this because I'm a very particular type of sleeper. It's not the same as my husband, but we come to like a happy medium. So let's talk about natural ways to create that really effective and really comfortable sleep environment.
Well, first of all, of course, it's the physical, and I'm going to go from a holistic standpoint. Okay.
Yeah.
So the physical, you want to make sure that your room is as dark as can be. And by the way, if you have a spouse or, partner who likes the light on, these are wonderful. I've used these. So those are the eye patches that keep it dark. And you want it to be cool. So a lot of people, they pile on the blankets, and I know they have these heavyweight blankets, but try to find out what works for you. If you want a heavy blanket, then make sure that heavy blanket on. But if you can, try to keep your room as cool as possible. Below at least 65 is where you want to adjust it to. And again, the way your bed is, are you waking up with, neck strain? Maybe you need to change your pillows, check your blankets, your sheets. Even what you're wearing. So things like that. Look at, your environment. You mentioned the light, keeping the electronics out of the room as much as possible or away from the bed. So phones usually in another room, things of that sort. Try to reduce also that time, at least an hour or two before you go to sleep, to eliminate the computers or the TV. I know a lot of moms, they put the kids down and it's like, I just want to decompress. So how I decompress is go watch a show. Well, the idea is maybe reduce that to like maybe a half an hour. Maybe it's a quick sitcom just to say, okay, I got it. Okay, now I'm going to turn to maybe reading or coloring or painting or something that's enjoyable, that's very relaxing. Okay, sex is another one who will help. So yes, so we'll add that one as well. Yay. Okay. The other thing is too, is you want to remember that you want to get the light in the morning. So for instance, try to get as much sunlight as you can in the morning hours, even on the third eye, trying to get it into the third eye point for at least, 10, 15 minutes. That's going to help to build the melatonin so that by the end of the day, you're darkening the light, you're bringing it down. You can change your light bulbs to a lower wattage. So you want to do things like that.
Ooh, I like that. Let's time out there because you said a lot of cool things that I want to touch on. So
Sure.
I'll work backwards because that's how my brain remembers things best. Changing the light bulbs in your bedroom. I have never thought about that. And that's brilliant because my husband is like this obnoxiously bright light bulb that is like a task lamp on his side of the bed. And like I can't go to bed if he's reading with that thing lit. So I love that idea. And if you're just talking about like just the soft light bulbs or like the warmer colors.
40 watt, 25 watt, something that says, hey, this room is where I'm going to relax. This is where I'm going to find my peace. And, keep that at the lower wattage. Yeah.
Okay. Have you read up on or had any experience with those light lamps, the light therapy lamps? What are your thoughts on that?
From a holistic standpoint, definitely if you need a light lamp to help with your melatonin levels, especially in the morning, and then also anything that is lighter, that is more direct, you want to do those, later in the evening. So yeah.
Okay, cool. I always wondered about those. I'm like, I'm going to stick this lamp in my face and pay $40 for it. Like, is it going to actually work? So that's really cool.
It does. It's like, it's like vitamin D. You need that vitamin D and it gives you that vitamin D.
That's great. And so we talked about, you touched on something that's really important that I talk with, my mom's a lot about, I hear a lot about is like, once the kids go to bed, then you're like, okay, I got 2 to 4 hours to myself to do things. So oftentimes people get really like ramped up and do chores or turn on the computer and do work or like just try to catch up with the day. And sometimes we got to do that. But some of the things that I've found that are helpful is either getting those blue light eliminating glasses, or if you're the kind of person like me that would lose them like every 5 minutes, just downloading the f.lux extension onto your computer. So that one, you type in like when you go to bed, when you normally wake up, I think your time zone, and it'll automatically adjust the light emissions from your computer. And I also noticed that like, this might not be everybody, but like I can't watch high stress, high tension shows before bed because it'll get me worked up and I won't be able to go to sleep, or I'll start thinking about the crazy things that happened in the show. So like we usually just put on something simple like Modern Family or just something delightful and relaxing that we can watch, and then like, all right, go about our bedtime routine. So there's a lot of opportunities, I think, to like still get some of those things done that we need to without being like, no, Connie, you can't do any of your work after your kid goes to bed. Go paint a picture and relax. Like there's obviously a happy medium somewhere in between, like being super chill for 2 hours before bed and like not being able to get anything done.
Well, let's think about it. So you mentioned, chores. So for instance, if you're working on your checkbook, that's not the time to do it, the checkbook.
Do people still do that?
Yeah, I guess. But anything that's going to cause you a potential stress, you don't want to be thinking about your finances before you go to bed. You don't want to be thinking about problems. So folding towels, okay, is always a good one to do at night. Washing the dishes are mundane. That's something. Ironing, if people still iron, I iron, that's a nice mundane thing. And you mentioned, nice shows, but also think about what you're reading. I know, for instance, if I'm taking a class and I'm studying, if I read at night what I'm studying, then I'm thinking about that all night long. And I really don't want to be thinking. So I'm going to find something fun to read, some type of Gothic romance or something that's, or even a magazine that just has real quick little articles that you can say, I got through it. I made it.
Yeah.
So that's always a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. So the New York Times push notifications, if you get that on your phone, not a great idea to like catch up on the news. I know this time last year, I had to completely cut out all social media, all newscasts, all television that was like about the current goings on, or else I would just automatically go up to that like level 10 stress. So I was like, you know what, that's not a thing anymore. My husband and I, we keep trying to get our tech out of our bedroom, but it's also our alarm clock, which I know we could just buy another one. And as I talk through it, I'm like, I should just buy an alarm clock with the light, with the warm light feature. But I mean, it's tough. And, something that I thought of that really made a lot of sense to me was another friend that posted, like, there's literally no email important enough that I have to be able to get it the second it comes to me. Right. And I know that can be a really challenging belief for people. Mm-hmm. But again, the more I think on these things, I'm like, why am I opening my email first thing in the morning? There's literally nobody I know that's going to send me something between like 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. that I have to get to the second I wake up.
Sure.
So really thinking about like what your morning routine is with, do you pull up your phone first thing and check social? Again, what happens overnight that you have to see on Facebook, like what goes on, and deciding like maybe you keep your phone down after you turn your alarm off, go about your day, and then say like, all right, 8 a.m., I'll pick up my phone or I'll open my laptop and do that. And same thing, do it the opposite way than at nighttime, right?
Yeah.
Oh, technology. Oh, those stressful checkbooks. I didn't mean, I was just laughing. I haven't heard like balance your checkbook in a long time. And I don't even know if they teach people how to do that anymore. But managing finances still is a thing. I keep getting locked out of my PNC account like every time I try to log in. So I just don't do it anymore. Next topic. Not next topic. So we're talking now about holistic practice we can implement immediately to go to sleep. So now we're going into things we can do for ourselves to help fall asleep.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
So some of these things you're going to have to maybe go out and purchase or do a little bit of work, but some things you can do immediately. So in my book, I talk about 10 major holistic approaches, and I'm going to talk about a couple of them here. One is journaling. Ending your day by journaling. There's multiple different types of journals. But the one that you want to do at night is where you're writing down, the things that you're grateful for. So a gratitude journal, yesterday, my gratitude was, my granddaughter was playing with my bracelets, and she just was so intrigued with the beads. So I was just grateful to see that she's, turning into this little girl that likes to look at jewelry. So little things like that. So writing down things that you're grateful for in a journal before you go to bed is always a way to say, I've ended my day on a very positive note. Spiritual affirmations or any type of affirmations, things that say, I've done the best that I can, and I forgive myself for the rest. Letting it go. I release all the emotional negativity that's been around. Possibly you had a fight with someone, or something didn't go right. You can always say, what, I'm okay. Everything is okay, and I'm going to release it and let it go. So those affirmations are so powerful. You can write them down. You can repeat them to yourself before you go to sleep is always a good way. Listening meditation is always a wonderful, or guided, imagery. There's a wonderful site called Insight Timer that you can have on your phone. It's a free app, and they have numerous different types of soft music to just little bells to white noise, and also guided imageries that you can listen to. So that's always a good one. Ones that we talked about aromatherapy. So I brought out, now I do believe in therapeutic grades. I do use Young Living. Other people use doTERRA, but I would always say research your aromatherapy. Make sure it's not just fragrance. Make sure that it is therapeutic grade.
Do not buy it at the dollar store.
No. So make sure you get something. So things like, frankincense is a good one. It helps you for falling to sleep. And again, what you can do is I created these little pillows, just out of felt, and, they just have a little batting inside of it. And I just put a few drops on it, and I put it inside my pillow, or I might be holding it, and it just keeps me to be more mindful and then to smell it. So these little pillows are always wonderful. Eye patches with some type of aromatherapy like lavender on it. And by the way, they've just came out, it was an article that if you rub your feet, or get somebody else to rub your feet with some lavender oil and lotion, that actually helps you to go to sleep better. So, rubbing the feet is always a wonderful holistic modality because it gives that nice personal contact.
Yes.
So yes, and then clary sage is a great sedative. Be careful of clary sage if you are planning on getting pregnant, because it does work on your hormones. So it is used in fertility treatments, as well as lang lang. So lang lang's a wonderful floral smell, but it reduces your blood pressure. So if you have low blood pressure, you do not want to use this one. You'd maybe want to use the frankincense. So, but the lang lang is also used in some of my fertility treatments. So, you know, things like bergamot and chamomile. Chamomile as an essential oil is wonderful. You can diffuse it as well as your lavender, or you can drink the teas. That's, you know, before you go to bed, have a nice tea before you go to bed that has chamomile.
Yeah, I noticed that, you know, I could drink coffee all day if it's, whether it's caffeinated or not. I just absolutely love the flavor. And recently, you know, with my own anxiety dealings, I switched and just started trying some of the sleepy time, like bedtime relaxing herbal teas before bed. And I found that it was really just that need to, like, that oral fixation of having something warm and to sip on in the evening, that was really helpful. So again, it was like any sleepy, whatever variety that I could find in my drawer was perfectly adequate. And it was just that feeling. So it's not always that like, oh, I need to drink coffee. Oh, I need to have a snack. It's maybe seeing if it's just the sensation to have something in your mouth, and then seeing if there's something else that's a little bit better of an option that can help. You also talked about the physical touch. That's really awesome, releasing serotonin and those, you know, those feelings of connectedness, either with your partner or just doing something nice for yourself. You know, you ever like give yourself a little massage and you're like, oh my God, that's the spot. Like you can do the same with your feet, like you said, with the lavender. And with the essential oils, do you remember off the top of your head the warnings with pets? I know cats have, there are certain essential oils that cats can't be around or diffuse.
Not at the top of my head. So, you know, I usually, you know, that I don't work with pets that often, so I usually have to research it. But you can Google it and just make sure you're at a quality site that has good information.
Yeah, definitely. Any moms out there, it's definitely cats. I don't know if it's specifically for dogs, but like before you diffuse anything or rub anything on your pets as well, make sure that it's safe for them, because it can disrupt their adrenal glands and hormones and stuff as well.
Good point.
Yeah. So, oh my God, I love all of these. I love all of these ideas. So for our crafty moms out there, that little pillow would be a really fun activity to do with your kid as well. Yeah. Like create a nice little circle of fabric and one of those big old needles, and, you know, create their own little sleep pillow and help them like get into this kind of meditation evening practice of, all right, pick your oil and get your pillow and, you know, tuck it in, and, you know, what's something nice you want to say for yourself. And oh yeah, that's how you started, that I really loved hearing, was the positive affirmations. And this is, I think, where it can get a little woo-woo for people to hear, like, you know, say something nice about yourself, create an affirmation, a mantra, journal about things that are good in your life. But I think we don't realize how much negative stuff we say to ourselves all the live long day, to the point where it's unfamiliar or even uncomfortable to say good things or to find good things. So I love the idea of bringing that stuff into the front of your mind, into your conscious awareness, because what you think about, what you write down, that's the world that's created around you. So if you're absorbing all this negative news and negative information, that's what you think, that is what you see and you pay attention to. But if you're constantly and making a habit of recognizing the good stuff and bringing, you know, getting those feelings that are associated with the positive, I'm saying positive too much because I don't want it to be too fluffy or too woo-woo. Like I said, like even I'm catching myself, because I don't want people to be like, no, that's dumb, or no, that doesn't work. I think if you try it and test it out, and I think there's like a nice little combination here of like doing your time journaling with just writing down, tell yourself something good about the day. Just write down something good. What was good? Because even if it's like, I found my favorite piece of candy, I said hi to a stranger, I complimented a stranger, I hugged my babies, like even if it's just like the littlest thing that you think of, like counts, right?
Everything counts. And what's amazing is it carries it into your dream world. The dream world is where we problem solve. And so if you're taking, the negativity and frustrations into your dream world's going to be disruptive, which means your sleep is going to be disruptive because your brain is going to be problem solving throughout the night. And so the idea is to calm the brain down so that it's thinking of peaceful things and allowing you to have that restful sleep.
Ah, okay, I love that. And me and my mom always talk about, we have the most vivid, wacky, off the wall dreams. And it's just so fun to talk about, like, oh man, I had this really weird dream last night. Cause my husband, he's like, oh, I don't remember anything. He doesn't remember a single thing from his dreams. And I'll wake up and be like, I was on a ship, but then we were on the moon, but then, Elvis was there. And then I went and had this like, stuff all over the place. And he's like, okay. I'm definitely not crazy. All right, cool. I want to keep moving this along because I love everything that we're talking about. So the last thing we want to talk about today is handling the disruptions during sleep time, either ourselves or external things. Like, how do we handle a disruptive night's sleep, even despite our efforts?
Well, despite our efforts, and whether we have children or not, we do get those moments where we do wake up. So it is a known fact that we sleep for about 90 minutes. We start to dream for a little bit, beginning of our sleeps, and then we'll dream for a little bit, and then we might wake up, okay? And we might be in a nice calm space where we're able to go right back to sleep without not even realizing that we woke up kind of for a few minutes. But then it's those times where we wake up around 2-3 o'clock in the evening or in the middle of the night, or we're disrupted because, of noise or baby or children.
Fireworks.
And, the biggest thing is first of all, I guess, and I know this is hard. I know this is really hard, but it goes back to that being present with our children, or being present in that moment, being okay with yourself to say, you know what, for some reason I had to wake up, and I'm okay with that, because the moment we start to think of the frustration we start to think about all the things that we got to do the next day that we're going to be missing out, or I'm going to be so tired. Immediately the brain starts to go into problem solving, and it's trying to figure out, okay, well, what do you want me to do about it? You know what I mean? And how are we going to solve this problem?
What do you want me to do about it?
And the brain's like, and the idea is you don't want to go that direction. You want to go into, I'm okay with, not getting the sleep right now, but I just want to be relaxed. Let's just be relaxed. So I'm just going to focus maybe on my breath. So that's a good way that if you do wake up and you're trying to go back to sleep, focus on your breath, coming into this nice, deep, long breaths, and then breathing it out. So you're just focusing on one thing. You're not focusing on the problems. You're not focusing on the frustration. You're just focusing on the breath. Another one is where you actually are focusing on different parts of your body, relaxing your toes, tightening your toes, relaxing your toes. Maybe tightening your calves, relaxing your calves. So you're working the brain into saying, I just need to focus on these little things that are going to bring me back into a nice, calm state. If those things don't work and you're noticing about 15 minutes of laying in bed and saying, hey, something's not working here, I'm still awake, that is the time to get up, okay? Get up, maybe possibly read a little bit of something. You want to avoid checking your phone, getting on the TV, checking the computer, things like that. Again, you're going into problem solving. You're going into work mode. So you want to go into calm mode. That's a good time. You mentioned the chamomile tea. You might want to just make yourself a little bit of chamomile tea just to have a little bit of sipping of something warm, a glass of milk. Again, you might have went to bed and, didn't realize you were hungry, but your body said, wake up and I need to have a little bit of something. So you can have a little bit of something that is just going to get rid of that urge. And then I think the other thing is just, pause to write down something. So for instance, if you are starting to go into that work mode and you're starting to think things, now's the time just to maybe jot down some little notes, get it out of your head and then put it aside. And then, try to go back to sleep again. And if you're noticing that this is a habit, I'm just not getting any sleep, by all means, think about seeing a sleep doctor. Okay. Because, if it's just not the baby, waking up, or the children waking up, or things like that, you might be having symptoms of some type of sleep disorder. And, I always say if all else fails, you might need to go see the professional. So for instance, if you're noticing that you're, having loud snoring, if you're fatigued throughout the day, if you're constantly having difficulties falling asleep or staying asleep, if you're noticing frequent headaches in the morning, even crawling sensations in your arms or your feet, these are signs that, hey, something's a little bit off, and maybe I do need to see a professional. So, I would try the other things first, though.
Yes, I love that. And I love this is a holistic conversation, but ylang ylang doesn't cure everything. Lavender isn't the solution for everything. We can't throw an oil on everything and expect our problems to go away. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because we can try everything in our toolbox. And that's exactly what we're doing in this conversation today, is sharing, we can try this, we can try this. I'm even thinking now, you just mentioning that your brain goes into problem solving mode. I can even get to the point where I'm awake now. Now what? And that's instantly solve the problem, do something about what being awake right now. So yeah, I too, I've had problems sleeping, whether it was the baby, whether it was stress, my anxiety has kept me awake and woken me back up. I live down the street from a fire station. So sometimes it's like white noise to me, but there's other times where there's really big things going on and there's sirens nonstop just going down the street. And again, with the fireworks, we're having this conversation right now, there's nothing we can do about it besides calling 311 and reporting fireworks, but I doubt it's going to do anything about it. So just recognizing what is within my realm of control? How can I try this? If it doesn't work day after day after day, maybe it's time to start asking questions to the medical professionals, which is always, if this doesn't work, go do that. Go talk to somebody who knows more than we do.
Right.
That's amazing. So of all the stuff we talked about today, what do you think is one really great single action step a mom could take to get better sleep that we talked about today?
I think personally, don't take it so serious. Be present, be open to just allowing life to happen, and because I'm going to tell you 10, 20 years from now, it wouldn't have mattered, And so when you get frustrated, the baby hasn't gone to sleep and, you're sitting there, that's when you hold the baby a little bit longer and go, I just love you. I just love you so much. And I'm so glad that I have this time. Maybe I'm awake because you're awake and I'm here in that precious little moment with you. And because there's going to be some day where you're not going to have that little baby sitting in your arms and you're going to, you're going to be awake going, hey, I should have just been there. So yeah, don't take it too serious. Just, welcome those moments, and for what they are.
I absolutely love that. That's a really great piece of advice, because it even helps you not elevate that stress.
Right.
Which is the problem. So thank you. That's a great single thing that you can just stop doing. Just get rid of all the F's that you have. And that's great. So what, you said you had a book. So tell us real quick about the book, and then anything else that you would like to share with anyone who's watching about your website, how they can connect with you, how they can reach out to you if they have more questions.
Sure. So my book is called You Are So Much More. It is a women's holistic guide to finding peace, passion, and purpose. The beginning of the book, I do talk about how I started off. I was a young mom at 16. I got married at 16 and I was a widow at 17. So it talks about how my life began as, I'm raising my children by myself, and how I found, kind of lost myself along the way. And I think mothers can relate to that. You kind of lose your identity. throughout life, whether it's with a job or it's with family or friends. But life happens, and sometimes we lose ourselves. And so it is truly learning a holistic lifestyle, to look at life, to find yourself, find out what is so important in your life, and to use these different things, like you mentioned, the tools in your tool bag. And so that's what it's about. And it's kind of like a workbook. You take your time and you go through it at your own pace. You can reach out to me at kellyhaywiser.com. And on my website, I do offer a 20-minute complimentary, what I call exploratory call, where we kind of just explore, what are you going through? What does it seems to be, your concerns? And then, maybe come up with some type of, things I can do immediately, or things that it's like, hey, I need a game plan. I am trained in, like I said, food. So I am a holistic nutritional coach, as well as a life coach. And so I look at things from multiple different standpoints, whether it's food related, whether it's, lifestyle related, whether it's work related, relationships, career. We look at it from all different angles, and then we come down what is unique and special for your needs. So that's kind of where I go with it. Yeah.
Great. So we can definitely post those links to your book, which sounds awesome, and to your website on the conversation here. And once we share the replay on YouTube, so people can reach out to you and get the help that they're looking for. So cheers, Kelly, to a wonderful chat this morning.
Thank you.
And it was so nice having you on the show today. I'm so glad that the universe brought you and me together.
Thank you for having me.
I can't wait. Please come back again. You have so much value and knowledge to share with us. I hope we get to connect again on our talk show. So let's keep the conversation going in the comments, mamas. If you have any takeaways, if you have questions, if you have particular sleep concerns, please post them in the comments of this live video. And, Kelly's in the group. I'm sure she'd be happy to respond and chat and connect with you that way. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this show, and click that link in the group, in the YouTube channel, to join the Strong as a Mother online community. I can't wait to meet you. So until next time, stay strong, stay caffeinated, and I'll see you around. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.